Hi, I'm Mars from StrataGames, and today we are playing some fairies. We're going to be starting with a Dimir Faeries. I'm not doing anything fancy, basically just playing the Dimir Faeries list that I usually play, which doesn't have Fairy Miscreant, doesn't have anything like that, but is still just a solid deck that I really enjoy, same one that I have in paper. And then a little bit later we'll be playing some Is It Fairies as well. Also on YouTube today, my Mono Blue Fairies video just went live. So it's Fairies Day, Fairies Week, and yeah, got to get our spell stutters in. So just to go over this deck real quick, we're playing Fairies, which means, of course, Spell Stutter Sprite is the main reason to play Fairies. We're playing that as well as Fairy Seer. Spell Stutter is just a very nice counter spell, and of course, if we pick it up with a Ninja of the Deep Hours, we can reuse it for more value later. We also have a couple Augurs of Bolas, which are not fairies, but they do get a nice ETB, assuming it hits, which often I don't get to hit. Don't always have the most luck with it, but when it does hit, it's going to be pretty strong, and then we can pick it up as well with a Ninja of the Deep Hours. So we're a control deck, but we have those cards that are all a little more aggressive, a little more tempo elements to them. But we're very much a control deck with 4 Snuff Outs, 3 Cast Downs, 4 Counter Spells. We're also playing a couple Thorn of the Black Rose and Murmuring Mystic, 1 of Gurmag Angler. And then, honestly, I was kind of split on Dispels or Spell Pierces. I think Dispel has been a lot better recently, and honestly, like, we are a control deck, so Spell Pierce falls off, Dispel does not. It's always probably going to be able to target something, so I think we'll just make that swap real quick. Also, 3 Preordains for Brainstorm. We can shuffle away Brainstorms with Lorien Revealed. We can use them to set up Augurs of Bolas, and we have a 1 of Seeding Landscape. Bunch of islands and not mountains, 1 swamp, and then a Bajuka Bog and some Contaminated Aquifers, which can be picked up with our Loriens to make sure we have Snuff Outs available. Sideboard, can't really see at the moment here, but some Hydroblast, Blue Blast, a Null, Okubigang Shinobi, Mukutai Ambusher, Arms of Vidar, Extracted Confession, and Relic of Progenitus. So let's just take this for a league and see how we do. My stream schedule recently has been, well, schedule non-existent, but a little hectic, a little bit less prevalent than I've been wanting. I don't think I streamed at all last week. And that probably for the next couple weeks going into the holidays, that's not going to change much, but in the new year, I will probably try to nail down an exact schedule that's streaming at least a couple times a week. So ideally, we'll bring some stability to that. A lot of good cards, but 1 lander, just not really going to cut it. This is the same, except it's a 0 lander, since we can't even cycle the Lorien. So not a great start. Another 1 lander, which kind of is annoying, but we at least have some cards to set up our next draw, so I think we get rid of... I mean, Thorn's really far away, but it could help us get back into this. They did mulligan to 6, and we're on the play, so we're down 2 cards currently. We're definitely keeping Fairy Seer Preordain, because that's 5 additional cards we can look at to try to hit our land. I think we just get rid of the Brainstorm. I kind of think a Thorn could be really good. If we keep Snuff Out, that can help protect it. I think we'll try this, actually. Start with the Fairy Seer, and another Snuff Out. Pretty good with the Thorn, but we don't even know if we're against a deck where Snuff Out's good yet. We definitely want the land, though, so we're going to keep that. Just wanted to pop in and say that I've definitely noticed an increase in quality of chat interactions since you started streaming regularly. You're getting better at your craft, and it shows. I really appreciate that. Definitely has been a bit of a new thing for me, a bit of a learning curve, and still sometimes difficult to stream and keep up with playing properly and everything. But in general, I think I'm getting better at it, and I'm glad that you see that as well. Murmuring Mystic, we already have a 4-drop. I'm not sure Thorn's going to be great, although they are probably Mono Red Madness, so they don't have a ton of creatures as long as we can avoid like a Snacker or something. Thorn might be okay, but we already have another 4-drop. Definitely don't want to keep the Mystic, and we will keep the land, of course. So now another land would let us slam a Thorn in 2 turns. Obviously, this turn we'd like to get probably a Spell Stutter Sprite. Fairy Seer would be decent. Augur Bolas, like a creature to get on the field would be nice. Or just like a counter spell to hold up. Wouldn't be bad either. Snuff Out, not the best card in this matchup, as they are a burn deck, but if they play a Gutter Snipe or a Kazakh Flame Breather, snuffing it out will probably, in the long run, save us life, so also not the worst card ever. There's the Flame Breather. Although if I get a cast down here, I'll probably just cast this down. Okay, Preordain's not a bad draw. Maybe sets up our next land. Well, there's the cast down. We don't want to Snuff Out. Do I want the cast down? I was saying if I draw it here. I wasn't necessarily saying I want it because I already have the Snuff Out for this. But I could cast this down. That helps with a Thorn. I already have a Snuff Out. I kind of think we don't want this. It's a little tough because if they just ran this out, they might have a Gutter Snipe too. But if I keep this, if I top deck a land that I can then Thorn next turn, that's not bad, but if I don't, it's harder to get to it. I guess we're kind of trying to survive right now, and the best way to do that is to have removal. So I think we're going to keep it, actually. I think the chances they land another Gutter Snipe or Flame Breather this turn are pretty high, and then snuffing it out will be decent. And if that happened, like I would love for them to Gutter Snipe, I snuff out, and then we top deck an untapped land and I can Thorn. That'd be really nice. Let's hope for that. Alright, they grab the prize with a Fire Blast. I mean, this is still fine if I get the land. I can still just land the Thorn. I mean, Bojuka Bog's not bad. I don't hate it because we get rid of a Lava Dart unless they want to sack a land here. The tap land is pretty unfortunate, though, because like we don't get Thorn till next turn. We could be dead in a couple turns. I really wanted to get the Monarch going this turn so that I can hopefully start drawing my counterspells and whatnot. They plot a Highway Robbery, though. All right, got nothing else to do, so we're obviously slamming this, hoping we start drawing counterspells and don't die to a bunch of burn here. Like, Dispel off the top would be decent, just to have something, although we scryed one to the bottom, so there's only one left. They do both the Thorn. Preordain's not bad. It can set up next turn. Snuff Out can't hit Snacker, obviously. Snacker also comes back, so that would be unfortunate if they could get that off of this Highway Robbery, because then it might be hard to keep the Monarch, unless I can find some fairies. Faithless Looting. So no Snacker this turn, since they're starting with Looting. Mountain and Fiery Temper. Then they cast Robbery. This isn't going terribly. Discard a Lava Dart, Mountain, and grab the prize with a Faithless Looting. Okay. They have all the card draw, but they have a Lava Dart, 2 Faithless. We're at 13. We're not in a terrible spot. Let's get some good stuff. Okay. They don't have any haste creatures, so they're not going to be able to take the Monarch this turn. I think I just slam a Lorien. Like, it would be nice to preordain into maybe a counterspell or something, but there's no guarantees, and we just have Lorien now. They spent their whole turn, like, looking for cards. If they have a Gutter Snipe, I can still snuff it out. Of course, they have enough mana that I can take a lot of damage that way. This is higher risk, higher reward, but I think we just go for it. No land, it's a bit annoying. But like, yeah, this Preordain wouldn't have seen anything super relevant. I could have played the Fairy Seer if I bottomed both of these. That wouldn't have made that big of a difference, though. So this next turn, I'll Fairy Seer, Preordain, and hope to find something. Grab the prize, Fiery Temper is unfortunate, though. Down to 8. There's an Epicure. 7. 6 with the Lava Dart. Alright, we're playing Fairy Seer. There's a counter spell. We gotta keep that. I'll draw that from the Monarch at the end step. This Epicure is gonna... They're probably going to try to Lava Dart the Fairy Seer. Epicure gets in, so I'd have to snuff it out, but then I die to a Bolt. I have one counter spell. It's not really going to change. Like, I could play a Thorn here, but that doesn't change much, and then I don't hold up counter spell. Or I could play Ninja. Or I could just hold up Snuff Out for the Epicure, but then I still tap out of the counter spell. None of this really makes that big of a difference. I think we just let them take the Monarch, probably. In which case I should preordain for an extra scry. We know we want to keep the counterspell, but I can scry to set up our Monarch too. Cast down. I guess I could cast down the Epic here, but then we're not holding up counterspell. We can let them take the Monarch for one turn. They draw an extra card, but then I can Thorn, is my thought. But I'd probably keep both of these and just see which one I need. Cast a Flame Breather. So I could counterspell that. I mean, this is going to be at least 2, maybe 3 damage to us. So this is pretty much a Lightning Bolt plus, but of course it's a Lightning Bolt I can get rid of with a Cast Down versus the Counterspell. We're in a really precarious spot here, but I think we gotta let it go. Lava Dart the Seer, that's fine. I think we just take one, and then we cast down this Flame Breather, probably now, just in case they have a sorcery. Like, if they have an instant, we're gonna die. I'm gonna cast this down at the end step regardless. I know we're tapping out of Counterspell. We can't really afford to play around everything there, so we might as well do it now, and just see if we die. But there's the bolts and there's the bolt. Yeah, I wasn't getting around that anyway. Just a bit of a rough start. We do get 6 blasts and an ambusher. And I guess relics are decent. Don't need fumes. Take out all the snuff outs and the thorns. We did see a lot of the cards that I would have liked to side out, so that did not help. 1 card left. Mystic just gets blasted. We're probably just countering a bunch of their stuff and then beating in with, like, fairies, I assume. I think we'll swap like that. Been loving the content. I have 2 tournaments coming up for dual lands. Hoping to pull off some of your luck and skill. Sounds great. Good luck with those. I was not really expecting to be able to actually get a dual land, but it was a pretty sweet tournament, and I definitely had some luck. Good amount of luck on my side. A lot of my opponents mulliganed, and, like, one or two times in a lot of crucial games, and I mulliganed a ton, don't get me wrong, but almost every single hand that was a mulligan was pretty obviously a mulligan, so I didn't have to make too many tough decisions, although I did keep a couple bad hands, which I mentioned in my tournament report, that I should not have. So always important to keep mulliganing hand, be disciplined and mulligan the hands that you think are not going to work out very well. Fairies, you say? Indeed. Do you like fairies, Skura? I wasn't sure if that was something you'd be into. Possibly. Got to keep those cards close to your chest, I understand. Don't want to let that leak. I did play some mono blue fairies that I put a video up of today as well. So it's just fairies day, fairies week here. I've been playing so much black sack in person that I've not gotten to. This hand's incredible. That I've not gotten to play as many fairies as I've wanted. So figured we'd give it a try. Fairies year after Lorwyn, hell yes. I'm looking forward to it a lot. I would love for fairies to get a nice little bump. I saw the custom card you made, the card you were asking for to get printed, Champion of Fairy and stuff. Pretty sweet design. It looks crazy powerful, so we'll see if we get anything like that, but I would love it. They mulligan to 5, and we have double blast here, so that seems pretty good for us. Could hold this for a brainstorm. We have a Lorien, which can grab blue-black. I think we'll just play Island here. We're going to pass. No reason to run out an Augur when we can want to hold up all of this, and then maybe next turn we'll run out Augur with like a blast backup, but we'll see. If they don't do anything here, I'll just cycle this for Aquifer. All right, I think we'll just get the Aquifer down. Keep passing. They're missing a land drop, not casting anything. Pretty good for us. It is blind on the Augur, but now we get to hold up both of these and still the spell stutter, so I think we just go for it. If they want to fight over this, I probably just let it go, because I'm not too worried about it. Unrelated note, been enjoying the downshift videos. Been hoping they downshift more things in the future. Guild Charms example, only Izzet is legal right now. Yeah, that's always bothered me, and I think most of them could get downshifted. Alright, there's the Pyroblast. So obviously I could Spell Stutter, good value, but then I'm tapped out. They could also have another Pyroblast. I could Hydro back. I'm not sure I care that much about this. I mean, it draws us a card, hopefully. Yeah, I guess we'll go for it. If they counter again, I'm just going to leave it, because I want to obviously hold one for like a grab the prize. I don't mind like slowing things down a little bit here, like just passing and I'm hitting land drops and they're not, but like if we're not doing anything, I feel like it could be, it depends on if we draw. Like if we keep drawing lands, we're going to eventually run out of stuff to do. So, all right, they have another one. I'm going to let that go and just pass to them. Do you think Skullcrack or Shatterstorm would be too strong? Yes, both of them would be absolutely too strong. There are no artifact board wipes, but plenty of enchantment ones. Also a card that prevents life gain. Maybe not Skullcrack would be nice, tech considering whether the Storm is so strong. So you're right. We get a nice 2-for-1 here. You're right that Weather the Storm is pretty strong, but why is Weather the Storm strong? It's because the red decks are already incredibly powerful. So it's not like, for the most part, there are some decks that run Weather the Storm main deck. You get your Flickertron, things like that. But those are mostly the outliers. Weather the Storm is mostly strong because red is already incredibly powerful. It's not just like you're proactively casting Weather the Storm. So I think what you'd be doing by adding a Skullcrack into the format is, I don't think I'm going to be able to counter this because they'll surely have a Bolt or something. Oh, this gets Snacker back. See, like, we're doing really well, except that we're only hitting land drops. And if I do cast this, and then they kill it, and then I got like a Ninja, it's bad. But what else are we doing? I guess we'll let it go. So yeah, Weather the Storm is the answer, not the problem, with the red burn/life gain situation. I don't feel like the answer needs to be answered. So I think, Mono Red Madness is already 10 or 12% of the metagame usually. It was like 12% of the metagame at Paupergeddon. It won Paupergeddon. I don't think it needs any help. I think it's pretty obvious that it's already doing all right. I know people have been asking for Skullcrack for a while. That's a nice hit. But unless Mono Red goes downhill at some point, I don't think Skullcrack should ever be legal in the format. Just mostly because of the reasons I've been saying. Red has always been a very incredibly powerful entity and does not really need to be buffed. Alright, I could hold up double Spell Stutter here, and we have the Seething Landscape to shuffle this away. But now that we hit the Augur, I think we actually want to make sure we get value off of that. Anyway, so that's my thought on Skullcrack. As far as Shatterstorm, there are no artifact board wipes, but plenty of enchantment ones. That is very true. I wish that enchantment decks were a little more prevalent. I wish that there was more that you could do with enchantments than just Bogles or Mono White Heroic. And then again, if there were, then we might get to the point where where those like enchantment board wipes are start becoming sideboard options, and then it gets pushed back. If you put Shatterstorm into or what is the other one? Creeping Corrosion, the green one. If you put something like that blows up every artifact into the format, that will be the most drastic change to the format, I think, basically ever. Because you will be hampering the artifact deck so much. Artifacts are incredibly powerful. Obviously, I want there to be answers to them. I don't think Affinity should be the best deck. Although Affinity has not been the best deck in a while. It's been, Grixis Affinity is at like maybe 4th or 5th best deck. Esper Affinity is a cool deck, but it's a lot lower. Of course, Jund is one of the most powerful ones, and it does use artifact lands, but it's not using... Like, nobody's citing in Shatterstorm for Jund because it doesn't destroy the indestructible lands. Anyway, you can make the argument that because of the indestructible lands, like, well, it doesn't blow up everything, but it's like, yeah, but it blows up, a couple of their lands, it blows up every single one of their creatures, I don't know. I think we already have some incredibly powerful artifact hate options in Dust to Dust, Cast into the Fire, all the other Exile ones, Masked Vandal, and things like that. And I'm not saying I would be opposed to more artifact removal for sideboards, but I just don't think you'd want to see that. The card that just says, yeah, prevent everything that you've tried to do, just blow everything up. Like, it's not just putting Wrath of God into the format against certain decks, it's also putting Armageddon and whatever card blows up all permanents. Like, it'd be way too powerful, I think. And those decks would become... I think basically unplayable. Like, I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it. Again, I'd be fine with more answers to artifacts, like more 1-for-1s or even like 2-for-1s like Dust to Dust, things like that. But the blow everything up, I just don't think is necessary. In the same way that I wouldn't want there to be a card printed like a Blue Elemental Blast that for 4 mana that just says blow up every single red permanent or blow up every single blue permanent. Like, that just shuts down some decks, and I just don't think that's very good. I could Spell Stutter. I've thought about it for the past couple turns. I could Spell Stutter to block the Snacker trade, but they have a Lava Dart they can cast. I do have a Blast and another Spell Stutter and all this stuff, but I think we'll just take 2. Hey, what's up, Gaidonic? How's it going? If something with the same effect of Skullcrack gets printed or downshifted, Pauper will be doomed. It might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but I do think it would be too much. For sure. Oh, chill the magic card, not for you to chill. Yeah, I definitely was like, I didn't think I was coming off that hot. I guess I'll chill. Okay, I could cast Lorien, which is pretty good because we could draw some stuff. But if they have a Pyroblast, it's kind of awkward because, like, I can't Spell Stutter because they're Lava Dart. I could Blue Blast back, but then we're kind of tapping out. I think we'll do it. And if they counter, I might just let it go. And if they don't, then it's actually pretty good because I hit my land drops, I get more counter spells. Now I can hold up more of this. What about a card like Kataki War's Wage? There's a similar blue card, but all permanents as a sorcery. Yeah, I think Kataki itself should not be downshifted. I don't think that feels like a common. And it's still an incredibly powerful effect. No, it doesn't quite blow everything up, but also it basically makes every single artifact land. It basically blows them up because they have to either tap to keep themselves alive or they have to sacrifice. And so, like, I don't know, a Kataki War's Wage, if it costs like 5 mana, sure, that'd probably be fine. But I don't know if that'd be playable. So that effect specifically already seems like too much to me, but I could see it being okay, maybe, for the right cost. And... You did say chill. What is chill? It's like, is it one of the blow up all? Alright, it's supposed to be a card. Is it like blow up all mountains or something? Red spells cost 2 more to cast for 1 and a blue. That seems pretty good. Alright, they're trying to kill this. I don't really care if it dies, but we've been wanting to get these spell stutters down for a while, so this is a good excuse. We also have plenty of mana that will play this, then they'll Lava Dart, then I'll play the other one, then they'll do something, and I still have Counterspell and Blast. So that's a Lava Dart from the hand, but then this can still counter it. Yeah. Yeah, chill seems a little it seems like a lot to me. Like, that would be... If they don't Pyroblast the chill, you basically just win by resolving it. Alright, so they Pyroblast that. We're going to Counterspell. because it's more expensive, and then Blue Blast, and Blue Blast covers just about everything anyway. So this counters the Lava Dart. They can still, if they want, double flashback Lava Dart to try to get this Lightning Bolt to go off, but that doesn't seem very good for them. All right, that was a great victory for us. Used up a whole bunch of their resources, finally got our spell stutters down. I can trade with the Snacker now. They have a Highway Robbery that they plotted forever ago. That's good to remember. Fade away. For each creature its controller sacrifices a permanent of their choice unless they pay 1. Yeah, a card like that, like one-time use, probably would be fine. But for artifacts, I'm probably white. I think if it was for if it was this exact card, but for artifacts and it was shifted to white, I think it'd be too powerful. You have... I think I want to keep these guys alive best I can. Just because you play against an affinity deck, you just wait for them to tap out, and then you cast it, and they sacrifice their whole board. Would need to be a higher mana value. Yeah. I think the problem is a card like that is going to be either too strong or too weak, depending on its cost. If it costs 5 mana, probably isn't going to see any play. If it costs 3 mana, I think it'd be busted. And if it's 4, I think it would just... I don't know where it would be on that line, but I think it would be one of those two, probably still. Like 4 would probably still be really good. Because again, your opponent has to have a counterspell, or they're, as an affinity player, they can never tap out, or they have to sacrifice their entire board, and that just... It seems very swingy. I don't really like cards like that are extremely swingy. And I understand it's punishing another type of deck that's like already very strong, but still seems like too much to me. Alright, they cast the Robbery first, which is weird because the Snacker's not going to come back now. And I think I want to stop taking damage. We're in a pretty good spot already, but if we just keep taking damage from the Snacker, like, we could definitely get low enough and die. And since they didn't cast, like, since they still have the Robbery... What am I saying? Since they played the Robbery before attacking, which is just a misplay, I think, then I can wait until now I have counterspells up, so the Snacker's not going to come back. They might Lava Dart this so it doesn't get a Ninja through, which I'd be okay with. But guess not. Alright, let's Brainstorm and then Augur. Make sure we hit something. Hydroblast, perfect. But I don't really want to put back... Actually, all of these are really good. Okay, I don't think I'm going to Augur, because, like, Ambusher's good. I should have done this first, because I could have ambushed there, so that was a mistake. But Bojuka Bog hitting 2 Lava Darts, a Snacker, Faithless Looting, like, that's really good, too. So, I guess we'll put back Hydro Ambusher, or not Ambusher, Augur. And then next turn I'll draw the Augur and I can play that. But like I kind of want all the rest of these. If they sack a land to blow up the Sprite, I think I Sprite in response because I'm going to want to Sprite for this Ambusher anyway. And if they sack another land, like I'm already in a very good spot. Alright, blow up the graveyard and now I think we'll be okay. Gutter Snipe. We don't have... Well, I do have a kill spell coming with the Hydroblast, but we'll obviously just counter that. Play the Augur, win that game, and try to do that again. That opening hand was incredible, so not super surprised that game went in our favor. Alright. I mean, this hand's not bad. 2 Blue Blasts, a cast down, Preordains, Aquifer. I wish was an island, but then Bojuka Bog maybe, if they have like an early Faithless Looting. Seems good. If they do get like a quick... With no untapped blue, it's really annoying because they could get a turn to, like, grab the prize into a Snacker, which is kind of the way to beat this hand, is like a Snacker that I can't Blue Blast. I could cast down, but, like, it's going to be able to deal me a lot of damage for a while. But they mulligan to 5, and, hey, if I'm lucky, they, like, Faithless Looting, discard 2 Snackers right away, and I just get to Bojuka Bog them. Although that sets back my Blue Blast a turn, so I'd actually prefer they do that, like, turn 2. So I can go Aquifer Bog. But there's the Faithless Looting. We'll see if they put anything juicy in the graveyard. And Lava Dart Snacker is definitely going to be good enough. So even though we're not going to be able to play this Fairies here, which is a pretty good draw, on turn 1, or 2 rather, I gotta just take those away. I don't want a Snacker, I don't want to have to deal with a Snacker turn 2. And there's a Flame Breather, we can kill that in a turn or 2, untapped land, perfect. So I don't think I'm going to cast this down yet. I can take a damage or 2, they only have 2 cards, and I'd like to hold up a Blue Blast in case they go for a draw 2. Because if I cast it down and then they get a draw 2 off and maybe get like a Snacker back or just whatever, it's not bad. It's pretty good for them. And if they hit me for like 2 damage here, I don't care too much. And if they just pass, now I'll cast it down. So I took 1 damage off of it. I think that's a fine exchange. Maybe an extra if they want to bolt me on the end step here though, but still fine. All right. And then, yeah, unless we got untapped blue, I'm not casting anything. We're just holding up a Blue Blast, but blue mana coming, and we're in a pretty comfortable spot, I think. There's a Flame Breather. I can just blow it up after it's down. We only have 3 cast downs in the deck. I think we'll blast it because our blue mana is a little limited here. And probably just Fairy Seer in case we can find a Ninja. Had not thought of cast down as non-interactable removal against red. Yeah, no, it's... Ooh, Relic's not bad, actually. Lorien's fine, too. The tough thing about Mono Red Madness is that it forces you to attack them on a lot of different axes, because it's a burn deck. That's fine. It's a burn deck, so you want life gain, but it's also a graveyard deck, because of Snackers and Lava Darts, so you want graveyard hate, but it's also a deck with important enough creatures that you want creature hate. So like it's really kind of a pain to deal with all of this. So I was brainstorming here because I figured I'd cycle the Lorien, but honestly with as many lands as I have, I might want to keep the Lorien. So this brainstorm might have been a bit of a waste. But I can scry one of them to the bottom with the Preordain, which is probably just the other Preordain, to be honest. Everything else is pretty good. So I think we just do this. Don't cycle. Cast this. Get rid of a Preordain. I'm never getting rid of a Hydroblast here, so we'll do that. And then Relic, I can hold up double Hydro. Hi, Ben. How's it going? And then I could pop this at some point if they go for like a Snacker or whatever. And in just a couple turns, I can maybe eat this Lava Dart. So feeling pretty good here. They had a rough mulligan and they had the perfect Bojuka Bog turn 1, but still feeling pretty good. Ben just resubscribed with Prime for 4 months. Thanks for that, Ben. Can't remember what color the Hedron should be now. It should keep changing, but I really appreciate that. Let's see. Oh yeah, so you're one of the founders, which means you were one of the first 10 subscribers, which is really cool badge. But I don't know why you don't also get the Hedron badge, because I feel like that's kind of unfortunate. Wouldn't you want to have that as well? So I don't really know what's up with that. I think you can update. Oh yeah, maybe it's something on your side. I think the Hedron looks cool, but obviously being one of the first 10 is pretty cool too. Another Blue Blast, a Lorien. I'm never getting into a Blue Blast, and the Lorien is a slow land, so if I can cycle one Lorien and then cast the other one, maybe that's good, but obviously I'm not cycling the Lorien until I draw that Blast. Lava Dart the Seer. I think I can spell stutter here. They can double flashback Lava Darts if they want, but they lose all their lands, and that doesn't seem great. And they have one card left. If it's a Pyroblast, I can Hydro here. All right, we win that match. You can now pick up my comprehensive guide to Esper Cryo Affinity, including 38 sideboard matchups, and I just put out a big update for my Black Sack guide, including a slightly different deck list. I began offering coaching sessions if you're interested in taking your Pauper game to the next level, and I'm accepting deck donations, so if you desperately want me to play a deck that I usually wouldn't play, something like Elves, then you can make me do that for a small fee. I've started posting a League video every single day, not to mention streaming at least a couple times a week on Twitch, but I'm not going to be able to keep that up forever unless I can get a little bit more help from the community. Any of the ways I've just mentioned are great ways to help me out, or you can even subscribe and support me on a monthly basis. All right, we have an Island plus a Lorien, Preordain. I think we'll keep it. I mean, it'd be a much better match if we know we're against like I don't know, Gruul or something where the cast downs are going to be super relevant, Jund. Whereas if they are not, then we have a couple dead cards. But we have fine mana, cantrip, late game, and we are covered against go big decks or go wide decks with the Suffocating Fumes. But a Lotus Petal makes me think probably Spy, which we should already be in an okay spot for, because if it's walls, cast downs are really good. Plus, we just have counter spells and stuff, so they don't even have a 1-drop. Okay. Also, they had to spend 2 cards to get their forest. I like that. Fairy Seer. Might as well Fairy Seer. Next turn, we're probably cycling Lorien for black, unless we can just find our swamp or other black naturally. Island and Spell Stutter. I like both of those. But if I want to cycle the Lorien for black for next turn, which I really do, I can only keep one of these. I mean, we'll figure out which one we want, but I'm going to keep the Spell Stutter if I only can keep one. But I could also... Well, no, that's the other thing. I can't keep them both where I could play the Island and hold up Spell Stutter in the same turn because they're both on top. So that's a bit of a pain, too. They cycle a Troll and then have an Overgrown Battlement? Yeah. See, I really want to be able to kill that as fast as possible. So I think we just gotta cycle this for a black. And I very well might regret not keeping the land, because obviously deploying more of these would be better than just having more spells I can't actually cast. But I don't know, holding up Spell Stutter and cast down so I can catch like a Winding Way or something could be good. There's a Gatecreeper Vine. But I guess Spell Stutter also doesn't catch the creature I really want to catch, which is obviously Spy. There's the Winding Way, hitting 4 creatures. Nice. 2 Quirion Rangers, which are pretty good with the battlement, but if I can get that land, Fumes can wipe them away. Yeah, I should have kept the Island. Obviously, I didn't know I was drawing another Spell Stutter, but now I feel like I have to get greedy with the Preordain to try to hit a land. Well, they only have 4 mana if I just kill this battlement now with the cast down. So actually, I think I probably just do that, play it safe. Because if I Preordain and I don't find the land, I think we are in a terrible spot. Whereas this kind of sets them back a turn anyway, pretty massively. I think we do this. If we can top deck an Island and they just like play another Quarian Ranger and whatever else, I can also Fumes to wipe both Rangers, which is nice. But there's the Ent. They could also... No, they can't play a Spy this turn. Well, they could have if they didn't cycle that Forest, but I don't think they're doing that regardless in case they have a Snuff Out or whatever. All right, there's all of that. There's the island. Okay. So, tough choice. I could... And of course, the island was on top, so if I preordained, I would have hit. There was a good chance I would have hit, but if I whiffed, it was just so bad. So I could cast on the battlement to put them on only 4, or I guess 5 mana with the Quarian. If they just go for a Spy, we're going to lose, though. Or I could Fumes... But the same thing is true. But it looks like they're less able to go for it because then they only have 3 creatures. And if I have a Snuff Out, they lose. But they also keep the battlement, which means they have 2 additional mana, which could easily play another creature. I could leave up a Spell Stutter for 2, but then they have access to like 10 mana, and that does not seem right. So I think it's got to be casting down this. So I think we have the mana to preordain, and I'm hoping to find some Snuff Outs. I do want to hit more lands, though. I'm going to cast down this turn, and then next turn I can double Spell Stutter if I'm not dead. I mean, double Spell Stutter doesn't even save us from the Spy. And I guess if we're not dead, I'm probably going to Suffocating Fumes. I think it's tempting, but I think I'm going to bottom that. We're going to swing, and we're going to cast down the battlement and hope for the best. Well, there's the Spy. So I'd have to have double Snuff Out to be able to prevent them from winning here. And we don't. And we will die. Can't imagine there's anything weird in here. Tinderwall. Guess you can't see that there. 2 Fiends in the main deck. 2 Dread Returns. Only 1 Giant. They could have the other Giant in hand, though. Spy's a good card. Yeah, so I've heard. Seems alright. We have a couple Relics. That's about it. Ideally... Oh, I guess I didn't even check if they had Masked Vandals. Yep, at least 1, 2, 3. But are they going to keep them in for the Spy matchup? Probably not. So I think we just bring in a couple Relics and what? They don't run Instants, so Dispel's probably a waste. I think Instant Speed / Cycling Suffocating Fume is probably better than Arms of Hadar. Extract doesn't seem very good. All right. Has anyone tried to counter Spy by making them draw from an empty library to Instant Speed? I assume not, otherwise it would be commonly used. No, a little bit. The main one I've seen is, what Ben's saying. Red decks, we're using... that with Sazakep's Brew, which is a Tormenting Voice, discard and draw 2. That's not played a ton, but yeah, it's used a little bit, but not a lot. There's not a lot of ways to like target an opponent at instant speed to make them draw cards. At least not not a lot of playable ones. All right, Ninja gets blocked at some point, but if we get the Spell Stutter and we get to re-Spell Stutter, that's pretty good. Or Fairy Seer. Mystic could take over the game, but I think that's a lot later, so I think we get rid of that. Obviously, we're going to preordain, looking for Snuff Out and Swamp. Literally 2 of the cards I was wanting, so we're going to keep those. I mean, our deck is definitely... I mean, we're the control deck, so I don't mind being reactive, but, like, our draw here is extremely reactive with, like, 2 Snuff Outs and Counterspell. But that's fine. We can Counterspell anything relevant here. Any creatures we'll just wait on. But, like, if they're just winding away, I'll probably Counterspell it. Gatecreeper Vine, that finds a land, but they're going to have a million ways to do that, so I'm not going to counter that, obviously. Yeah. Finding a swamp, and they have another Caretaker. 3rd Snuff Out's pretty good, although I can already see it. I'm going to use 3 of these very effectively, and then they're just going to play like a 3/3 Saga Wildling and beat me down, and I'm going to die in 3 turns. Quarian's fine. Lead the Stampede. See, I kind of want to like hold Counterspell for the win con, although honestly they're never going to suspect 3 Snuff Outs, so it's possible if I'm tapped out, they'll go for a Spy, and I'll be able to triple blow up their creatures in response. They won't be able to Dread Return. That would be really funny. And, I mean, I might as well cycle... This is a tough choice. Because I kind of want them to go for a Spy in that way and win. It's looking to be my best way of winning. So, like, I should probably cycle the Lorien for the Swamp and then leave it, like, bluff a Counterspell, but I actually want them to go for a Spy. Now, if they Mesmeric Fiend first, it's going to be blown. But I don't have a Counterspell either way. And I mean, if they play 1 more creature and then the Spy, it's not even going to work. 3, 4, 5, 6... 7. I guess they also need to pull out 1 more forest, though. I don't know. I don't think they're probably going to fall into it, at least not this turn, but I'm going to just cycle like this and get a Aquifer, and we'll see what happens. Could either be really good or really bad, or somewhere in between. That's the spectrum. Hey, they just go for the Spy. I mean, they still have a couple more mana, so they could have a creature from hand here, but they target themselves, and I'm going to go for it. I'm going to Snuff Out the Quarian first, because then if they want to use this in response to untap, I can Snuff Out whatever they target. So then I'll Snuff Out that Caretaker. But they're still going to have the mana from the forest. Also, this is only 3... Well, look, I'm going for it regardless. But they also only have 3 lands out, so this might also be like, they might just hit a land, and then I've wasted all of these basically, but like, what are you going to do? This is all I really have. They're going to make a green mana. Yeah, they didn't even hit. They had 1 forest left, so... Plus, it's awesome if it works. It is awesome if it works, but if it doesn't work, it's bad and makes me look like a fool. I could play a ninja, but it never gets through, so there's no point in doing that. I think the only time it was going to work was then anyway. They could have had the last land in hand, and it just didn't come up. But if it wasn't going to work that turn, which it clearly didn't, yeah, they're just going to play another spot here. Like, they would have had the creatures to get past the snuff outs anyway, so unfortunately, it was not going to work regardless. Would have been really cool, though. I think that should be an okay match, but we just did not see our counterspells, really. We saw 1, but 1 is basically 0. It's a tough deck to beat. Yeah, it definitely feels like my kryptonite. I feel like I lose to it a lot more often. It's a strong deck, and it is tough to beat, but I feel like I lose to it way more often than I probably should. But Altertron is my nemesis. Yeah, that could be a tough one, too. I get it. Going to try out some Golgari Gardens in the new year. Have you been playing that Food Pest deck at all? Yeah, I've put a couple videos up on the channel with it, and also I just play some regular gardens as well. Yeah, they're both pretty sweet decks. I like the Food Pestilence deck a lot. It feels like, I don't know, just kind of a different flavor to the gardens. You're still a very hard mono black control deck, but I don't know, Pestilence is a fun card. It's fun to figure out the puzzle of like how much damage you can deal, how to keep your own creature alive. Food, I think with the Cauldron Familiar is honestly pretty strong. Like, it's finally gotten to the point where it's good enough. Yeah, so I played it a little bit. Definitely not as much as I've been wanting to. I've been wanting to like practice it quite a bit, but I have not. There's a lot of decks to get to, of course. We're against Rakdos Madness. Counterspelling and grab the prize for sure here, which is obviously why they're going to plot a robbery. Man, this card's annoying. I can counterspell it, but it's just a 1-for-1, and it allows them to then do something else. I have a cast down for, like, if they go for a snacker or whatever here, so I think we'll just let it go. Kitchen Imp I can cast down next turn too, so that's fine. They'll just get in for a couple. And Vampire's Kiss. That's a pretty good one. It kind of is a draw too. I don't think it's as good as Grab the Prize or Robbery, but it hits for 2, and if they have more madness stuff, can activate those without us being able to like counterspell. I mean, we can still counterspell those creatures obviously, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think now's the time to brainstorm. I don't have a way to shuffle necessarily, so I can wait longer. These snuff outs are obviously not good. Maybe we wait 1 more turn. Another Vampire's Kiss. We'll take that one. They're thinking about not attacking with the Kitchen Imp. I don't even know what I would have to like ambush them here, except for like double Spell Stutter, which I think would be a fine trade for them. Alright, they obviously do attack. Gonna cast down. Maybe he thinks you have a Humbling Elder. Yeah, but generally the black's gonna indicate you're not playing Humbling Elder, and even if I did, this has flying, so I would have to have Humbling Elder and 2 Flash Flyers, like 2 Ilvoy Galeblades or 1 and a Spell Stutter to like kill the Imp. Unless he's thinking like, oh, I have a Humbling Elder or a Spell Stutter and then I'm going to get a Ninja in, but I haven't indicated that I have all of that, so I don't know. Just feels like they want to get their damage in since they're a burn deck. They plot a robbery, so I think I brainstorm here on the end step. I was thinking about not, but if I fully whiff, I can at the very least Gurmag Angler for 4, whereas if I wait till my turn and I don't find a land or anything, I guess, what am I going to find that's not a land and not relevant, though? I guess land, like Thorn Mystic would be bad draws. That's pretty unlikely, but I think I'm just gonna go for it. Okay. And this is obviously a reason to not, is that I would like to get rid of both of these snuff outs, and now with the landscape, which we did hit, I can shuffle away one of them but not the other one. And we also just drew 1 card less deep, I suppose. But I could hold up a cast down for another Kitchen Imp that I don't know is coming. They are only at 3 cards, but I obviously with blood tokens and stuff, I'm not feeling great. But I think the main way for me to win here is maybe I get a Gurmag Angler down. Well, I do. And maybe they don't have enough damage and I can start beating it with that. And if I start hitting counter spells and stuff, maybe we'll survive. Forgot about that robbery, though. They discard a Faithless Looting. Flashback Faithless Looting. Okay, that's not the worst. Just for a Fiery Temper and a Mountain and an Epicure, sure. Fumes. We already have removal for the Epicure, so I'm actually just gonna cycle the Fumes. But I'm just gonna hard cast a Snuff Out because Snuff Out doesn't kill Kitchen Imp or Snacker, so I'm gonna keep the cast down, and then I'm gonna hold this up because if they have a Kitchen Imp, I want to kill it, and if not, I'll cycle the Fumes. And I didn't want them to chump there because, which they might not, but like, I need to hit them 5 times in a row for this to potentially be fast enough. Like, that's already a pretty slow clock, but maybe we can get there. They are drawing a lot of mountains, it looks like. Alms of the Vein. We're down to 8. They are at 20, so if they gain no more life, the Gurmag can still finish them off in 4 turns. Although, I don't love tapping out here because they can get off some bolts or whatever, but like, I don't want to waste my mana. There's another Alms of the Vein. Spell Stutter's decent, but a Spell Stutter for 1 does not feel good enough to hold up. I think I gotta just go for the Lorien, and if we're lucky, we hit Island Counterspell. Bojuka Bog currently has nothing relevant, so that's not great. Well, we'll hold up a Spell Stutter for 1, and a Cast Down, I suppose. Vampire's Kiss, Lightning Bolt, and another Lightning Bolt. Alright, we get, same as before, all of this stuff, not the Annul. Snuff Out Thorn, Suffocating Fumes. We don't really need kill spells as much. I mean, Arms of Hadar is expensive for like a Kitchen Imp, but it can wipe multiple guys. If we can land a Mystic, it's decent, but that's probably not going to happen. I don't know. I just feel like half these games, because they only have 12 creatures, half these games it's like, oh, I wish I have removal and even board wipes because they have so many creatures, and half of them they have like no creatures. But like, I guess keeping a couple cast downs in for Mystic is slow, but Gurmag is not slow. I think her and Augur, because Augurs don't really block much. Like, blocks Voldaren, and that's it. This is not great. We have Arms of Hadar, which is a bunch of turns away. We have 1 Spell Stutter. We have a Bojuka Bog, which can be pretty good. I guess we'll try it. Start with an island and pass. They have Barrens. We're just going to leave up Counterspell mana. Oh, we even get the Counterspell. But I'm sure they'll just plot a Highway Robbery. Cycle Island for... I think we'll just go Aquifer so I can get my black mana down before I might have to use the Bog. There's the Faithless Looting. I could Spell Stutter it. But then, what good does that do? They just bolt it. I think we'll let it go, and if we're lucky, they like double Spell Stutter, or not Spell Stutter, they double their Fairy, Snacker, so I could Bojuka Bog them, or maybe they like, if we top deck an island here, like double Kitchen Imp would be decent because I could Arms of Hadar. Perfect, they split the difference, which is kind of a pain. I could have counterspelled the Kitchen Imp. I don't think that's right, but I probably should have just Spell Stuttered because then we have the potential for the Ninja. Okay, so I could Bojuka Bog, gets rid of some good stuff, but then I'm only holding up 1 interaction piece, whereas if I play a landscape, I could hold up Spell Stutter plus Counterspell, and the next turn I Bojuka Bog, and I have like Arms of Hadar. I think that might actually be better. Like, hopefully with these 2, I can prevent the Snacker from coming out anyway. They just flashback looting, I go for a Spell Stutter, and then they have like a bolt or whatever, I can Counterspell. I will be taking another hit from the Kitchen Imp, but just 1, I suppose. They have a Bog, which I almost never care about in Fairies because I only have 1 card relevant for the graveyard, but that is the Gurmag Angler, which I have, so bit of a pain. Well, we'll flash out the Spell Stutter in case I want a Ninja. Double Ninja. Alright, we'll go for the Ninja. Like I said, I should have Spell Stuttered like a turn before. Now they bolt. I could go for the Spell Stutter. It's surely going to get eaten, so I think I just let that happen. Now we can Bog for decent value, hold up my stuff again, Spell Stutter at the end step, go for another Ninja. Don't love that I'm taking hits from the Kitchen Imp every turn. This is currently a game where Arms of Hadar being a cast down would be way better, but again, I've seen many where that would not be the case. While we're tapped out, they're going to just cast into the fire with the Spell Stutter. Okay. Fairy Seer's not bad. Alright, we'll Fairy Seer, holding up the rest of this. I don't need another Ninja. I don't care that much about Preordain. I kind of just wanted to hit a land, so I could like Arms of Hadar Counterspell or Ninja Arms or something. Because like Preordain doesn't even let me like Preordain Ninja Counterspell unless I sack this landscape for a 4th blue, but then if I have that, then the Preordain's gone, so that doesn't matter. You can just put it on the bottom. We'll just pass. They play a land. Don't attack. That's interesting. I like that. I know we just scryed 2 to the bottom. I think I probably cracked this landscape though, because it feels the Angler. If I top deck a land, I could like Angler, hold up Counterspell or something. Another Ninja. If we keep doing that though, I really wish this was a cast down because I can't kill this unless I want to tap out a Counterspell, which I just don't. But luckily, it looks like the Fairy Seer is holding back their Imp, which I appreciate. I thought they'd keep attacking, but I guess they don't want to let the Ninja go off and have to like be forced to bolt it. Epicure is fine. Another card to catch with the Arms of Hadar, I guess, if I ever use that. Carnarium. They do seem a little flooded, which is good for us. No attacks. Alright, cast a Preordain. Hydroblast and a land. I think I want to keep both, but land first. So the next turn I can finally Arms with Counterspell up. 2 cards you bottomed. Yeah, that'd be interesting. That is interesting. Yeah, you're the Preordain and the Ninja, you're saying. You're exactly right. Alright, that's why you don't shuffle after scrying, you know. I mean, we're going to try to counter or grab the prize. That's why we've been holding up Counterspell for like 15 turns. But obviously they're probably going to have a Hydroblast or a Pyroblast or just something else worse. No. And they attack. But now I could Ninja. I guess we're going to let it go. Take too much damage, but now I get to Arms of Adar. Well, I should attack first. I'm not going to Ninja because we're going to Arms of Adar. I can actually Gurmag for 1 and still hold up Hydroblast, and the next turn I can start ninjaing. All right, not in a terrible spot now. All right, I think they were just super flooded because they played lands for a million turns, even at the Carnarium, and then just nothing happened. But then, yeah, hope that we can do something similar. Well, not something similar. That was really awkward, but winning the game, I guess, is good enough. All right. A lot of lands, don't love that, but Bojuka Bog is kind of a spell in this game, so that's already like kind of 3 spells. Preordain can hopefully find something. Hydroblast can hopefully stop the first draw spell. Epicure's a little annoying because that is going to deal us a good amount of damage. Brainstorm's not bad actually with the landscape though. Okay. We have a whole hand that could be something better, and that's we're hoping we can get there. Discard a Snacker with the Blood Token. Are they looking for a land? Okay. Well, they got there if that is what they were doing. I gotta hold up the Hydroblast longer, obviously. Ninja. I could Bojuka Bog, but I think I probably want to... It's a little risky, but I'm gonna Landscape, so this way I can hold up Hydroblast for a draw 2 to stop the Snacker. But if I don't use that, I can Brainstorm and Shuffle. Problem is if they went with a draw 2 and also had a Pyroblast backup, that would, then they could get the Snacker out. But it looks like that's not gonna happen. We're just taking damage from the Epicures, though. Alright, Brainstorm. A lot of lands. Let's get rid of some of these. Both the Aquifers. It's a lot of tap lands, so I kind of want to get rid of both of those. Bojuka Bog will be the black mana when we need it. Yeah, so I think we're even cracking this. I mean, we don't have that many black spells in our deck, right? 2 cast downs, Gurmag, Arms of Adar, and Ambusher. Yeah, most of which are going to be later anyway, so let's just do this. Well, there's the Arms of Adar. Okay. I was thinking about playing Island because then I want to hold up like Counterspell Hydroblast, but I do need to find a way to wipe these away. Obviously, that's Arms of Adar, and Bojuka Bogging the Snacker before it can come back isn't bad. So I'm just going to do this so I can set up for an Arms next turn, in which case, obviously, like another Epicure would be kind of nice for them to play. They did miss a land, so we'll see if they go digging for it. No black mana either. It's pretty nice. Damn, I really want to hold up a bunch of counter spells for if they go for a draw spell. I think I hold out one more turn. We take more damage from the Epicures, but I'm going to Preordain. And the next turn, I'm probably going to Arms of Adar with a Hydroblast backup. Because I just... letting them get like a draw 2 off here is a really bad move, I think. But if I can find... I can get through a Gurmag pretty quickly, actually. Brainstorm just helps that, so sure, we'll do that. Assuming I don't use an actual counter spell here. I was kind of hoping to find like a... I mean, Augur would be really nice, but like Spell Stutter or whatever, but this is fine. I can Brainstorm on the end step. They have a Fiery Temper. Yeah, I'm going to take that. So we're down to a virtual 9. Take 2. They do find the Razor Trap Gorge. And there's a Vampire's Kiss. Alright, we're just going to counterspell that. Hope for no Pyro. Okay, so I could go for the Arms of Adar. I could also just go for the Gurmag, which blocks one of these. Which could... the 1 damage could be relevant, but the Arms of Adar could be good for a Kitchen Imp later. So if I Brainstorm, then I can play Gurmag for 2 mana. I think that's what we do. We also get to see this stuff better. Okay, so let's... what are we doing here? Gurmag is 2 mana, and I play a Fairy Seer, so then we have our blockers, and I hold up Hydroblast. Okay, so then I'm actually going to put Arms potentially to be grabbed by the Augur. This Ninja actually could be good, though. We're not going to be holding up this counterspell this turn, though, so let's do this. Oh, I was thinking about scrying some of that stuff away, though, but I guess we kind of want it all, don't we? Well, we're doing this, and then... I mean, I'm only holding up 1 counterspell anyway, so I might as well go for the Fairy Seer so I have a counterspell plus a blocker if they really want to blitz and the 1 damage matters. I kind of think Arms of Adar is not relevant now, though, because I have enough blockers. So I actually might just get rid of that because I don't care if I grab it with an Augur. I'd rather grab something else or have a better shot to grab something else, I think. Faithless Looting is pretty good. Is that what I want to Hydroblast? We have a counterspell on top plus a Spell Stutter next turn. I think that's good enough. If this puts like 2 Fiery Tempers on the stack or Fiery and Alms, like we're kind of dead. So I realize they could like grab the prize or whatever now, but okay, grab for an Alms of the Vein, but they can't Madness it. That's not terrible. Also looks like they're missing a land drop. Okay. If I want to hold up both of these, I can't play anything, though. That's not good. I don't want to not play anything. So I think we attack with both. Hit for 6, Ninja, replay the Fairy Seer. One of these could get in, but we're holding up 1 counter spell. I could also just hit with the Fairy Seer, but wasting 5 damage. That's a lot. Let's see. They don't have a land in hand. Beware of Festivities. Yeah, Festivities isn't my biggest concern at the moment. Yeah, I can wipe a Fairy Seer and hit me for 1 and let an Epicure get in. I do want to hold up Spell Stutter and Counterspell, but I feel like just passing here is not very good because we don't develop anything and they can do something. Hit with Gurmag and play Augur. Yeah, that's an option. That still doesn't leave us up with both of these, but yes, a lot of the options that we're thinking about don't. And I guess if I find a Hydroblast or something with Augur, I can use that with one of these. I think that's probably the right call. Let's do this first, see what we get. We do get a Hydroblast. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think that's a good choice then. Good suggestion. If the Augur whiffed, I obviously would like this playing quite a bit less. But now that we have Hydroblast plus one of these for this turn, I think it's pretty decent. Grab the Prize Kitchen Imp. So I can Spell Stutter the Grab the Prize, or I could just Counterspell the Kitchen Imp and Hydroblast the Grab the Prize. I mean, we'll let them madness this. I think I just Spell Stutter the Grab, and then if they want to attack with the Kitchen Imp, I'll just double block with our Flyers. I think that's fine, actually. Then this way I get to keep my Hydroblast, and I don't really care about my Flyers that much at the moment. I think that's fine. I really don't want to use up like all my counter spells. Yeah, they don't even attack. Okay, perfect. Ambusher's great. Obviously now them having a Kitchen Imp's a bit of a pain. I admit that. But I mean, I could pick up the Gurmag with the Mukotai if I really want. Not necessarily my favorite thing, but it does gain us 3. And then it'll probably gain us 3 again next turn. It takes the pressure off of them. We're already relatively stable, though, so hitting for 5 is also just decent. That draw definitely makes me wish that I had Counterspelled the Kitchen Imp and Hydroblasted, because then I could do it with the Fairy Seer, and I could attack with the Augur. I mean, we're attacking with this regardless. Just do we want to deal 5? I guess 3 is only a couple less than that, obviously. We gain life. Yeah, I think we go for the Ambusher. It's a little awkward, but I think the 3 life is pretty good. They have to bolt this or like trade a couple Epicures for it. Now they attack with the Kitchen Imp. Do I want to go for the block now? Probably. Let's the Augur. Like, obviously ninjaing back the spell set is pretty good, but this also lets the Augur attack if I want to with the ninja. Hardcast and Alms of the Vein. I kind of think I just counter that. It's a big life swing. It gets our Gurmag down faster. They clearly don't have any way to discard it. Like, having a bunch of Hydroblasts in my hand and dying to, like, Alms of the Vein is really not how I want to go out. So I think we'll just do that. Preordain's nice. We don't need these islands. We'll get it anyway. Alright, I'm going to attack with both. They're going to double block here. I could Hydroblast one of these. They're not going to block. That's crazy to me. Okay, well, we're already at 5. Pick up this guy. Hit for 5, gain 3, draw a card. Blue Blast is nice. So I could play Gurmag or an Augur. I kind of think I just Gurmag, because they're under pressure now. I could, like, Hydra one of these and then played the Gurmag and then still hold up this, but I could do that next turn if I want to really clear these for blockers, and seems like a waste to me otherwise. Bolt the Ambusher. That means they're nowhere near killing us. Ambusher's pretty decent against them. I kind of think I just counter. And if they kill it, so be it, but like, we have taken control of the game. They're no longer trying to burn us out. They're just trying to like control our creatures, so I think we try to stop that from happening. They do flashback Faithless Looting and get a Fiery Temper, so that's going to kill the Ambusher. But if I can find like one more Blue Elemental Blast, we just have them dead here. If not, I still just get to attack for a bunch. And did we shuffle that Arms of Hadar back in the deck? So if I could find it with the Augur Bolas, that would win us the game too. Nope, but we'll just take a counterspell. Still seems pretty good. Swing with these guys, and they double block the Ninja. Okay, they thought about double blocking the Ninja. Red Elemental Blast. Oh, I could have blasted both of their guys. Sure. Yeah, fair enough. It's okay. You're right. I still won the game. I was just thinking Counterspell counters more things, and I'm already in a dominating position. But you're right. I could have just won the game on that turn. It's, that would have been the better play. But I like to make the second best play and still win the game because of it. That's my specialty. I also like to say out loud a way to win the game. Like, oh, if I find a Blue Blast here, I can win, and then I like to not do that thing when it does happen. So that's another one of my specialties. Content creation's worth it. Yeah, exactly. I'm getting like at least 5 comments right now for that, so got to get that engagement up. We have a pretty decent hand here with Fairy Seer into Sprite on the play. Fumes may or may not be good, and we can also find black mana with the Lorien if we want. I don't think I need a 4th island here, but I will take the Ninja. Could be really good depending on what we're up against. Preordain. Okay. Could be a mirror. Preordain doesn't usually see a ton of play in Terror, so it makes me think it is probably like something Dimir. So I can hold up the spell setter, but since they're blue, they might not act proactively. Like they might just hold up a counter spell, so I think we're gonna just get down the Ninja. If they play, you know, Swamp Cast Down, so be it. Another Ninja could be pretty good too. Alright, there's white, so Snap. Sure. So it's just familiars then. Yeah, Snap on the Ninja, a little annoying, but I get to go Fairy Seer, hold up Spell Stutter, and then next turn I can like double ninja maybe. They have God Pharaohs? No? Okay. Cast down. Cast down's good in this match. I'm assuming it's fairies just based on what I've seen. I have no reason to disbelieve that. Snuff out would be good. Will be good against them if that's what it is. So we'll keep that on top. Ash Barrens, yep. So if they go for a Sunscape Familiar, I have removal for it, but I probably just Spell Stutter for the value, and I have removal that can go on other creatures later. If they play nothing, if I cycle the Lorien now to get a Contaminated Aquifer, I lose out on a Snuff Out, which I think is pretty good. So I think I'll just cycle the Suffocating Fumes, which is not very good. And if they want to snap this, that's fine. Oh, we just draw the Aquifer. Okay. Well, I could Ninja here. We don't hold up Spell Stutter by doing that. But unless they have another snap, they can't really do much about it. And then I get to Fairy Seer. That they could, like, prohibit. I think that's fine. All right. Actually, that all works out. Island. Sure, we'll keep another Fairy Seer. We have some removal, some interaction, and looks like we just want pressure now. Modern Age. Okay. Discard Thraben Charm. Play an island, play another Modern Age. Those can block in a couple turns, but in the meantime, I'm going to get a ton of ninja value. Obviously, I'm not ninjaing a Spell Setter, which is the most value here, but like, I'm still just drawing a million cards, scrying a bunch. I'm pretty comfortable. Ooh, Dispel's pretty good, but I don't want to discard and might as well keep the pressure up. Snuff Out and Counterspell, those are both very good. We'll just keep them on top and pass the turn. Hey, finally I catch you live. Love your content, great stuff. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you're able to make it to the stream as well. Discarding Familiars here. Mole Drifter. Counterspell's on top, so I actually can't counter that. So that's fine. I'll just cast it down. They do get a little bit of value, but they're still very far behind. Now we have the Counterspell. Oh, I should have probably Fairy Seared first to scry, set up my draws, but that's okay. More Snuff Outs. I mean, those weren't bad. Thorn and Lorien. I mean, I guess I'll keep Thorn. Technically, all we really want now is just counter spells, but we already have a bunch. I think we're in a pretty good spot. Play one of my favorite decks, too. Very nice. Very, very sweet. Yeah, Dimir Faeries is one of my favorite of all time. They have another Mole Drifter. Well, this time we have the counterspell. We have 6 damage on board, so this will make it 7. And we can just snuff out both of their creatures and win the game. All right, they had a bit of a rough start, and we had pretty perfect start, I will say. So relics are good here. Okiba Gang's good. That's about it. Fumes is not so much. I like all the snuff outs and the cast down. Gurmag gets snapped or chump blocked, and then if it gets snapped, it costs 1 million, so that doesn't seem very good. And Augurs don't have anything to block and get blocked, so I think that's probably worth cutting. Dispel's good, though. Everything else I kind of like. What do you think of a one-off Gurmag and Fairies? I always have one in my 75. I also have one here. This is the same 75 that I run, or roughly, in paper. I like the Gurmag a lot. I like that we're a deck that doesn't care about its graveyard. So anytime somebody Pachuca Bogs me, I really don't care. But we have one card that does care about the graveyard, so that like it's still a resource that we get to use sometimes. And even if they're a deck that like has a couple bounce spells and could bounce the Gurmag, or like I just bounced it back to my hand last match with the Ninja, I can still recast it because I just don't use my graveyard for anything else. But if we obviously had like 3 or 4 Gurmags, they'd be fighting over that resource. If we had a bunch of other stuff, so like I like it a lot. I think it's just a nice way to win the game, and yeah, I'm a big fan. I've seen some people play, obviously 0 is pretty common, but I like it a lot, and I've seen some people play like 2, and that can be fine too, but I think I kind of like having the one of that, the one Mystic, as just like very different cards that they have to play around that could be really tough for them to deal with. Alright, this hand's not bad. It can be a little awkward, just with like sequencing and stuff here, but Relic's good. We have a lot of good stuff. I could just play a Relic turn 1, and if it doesn't get Spell Pierced, can do pretty well, but then I can't hold up anything on turn 2 with this Lorien, and I think I want to. So we're just gonna cycle this for an island. Okay, they either didn't want to tap out there, or they have a Lorien. Oh, fair enough. Or they just drew the Lorien, but they Chancery here. We'll just need to find our black mana later. I'm not going to play an Aquifer this turn. Well, we find the Aquifer. So I could play Relic and then Aquifer. What's the worst thing they could play this turn if I do that? If they play Sunscape Familiar, I could snuff it out. They could Sunscape plus like a Negate, backup. That's not too bad. They could Mole Drifter like Evoked, but no Ephemerate. That's not too bad. Okay, I actually think I will do this. I like the Relic being on the field, obviously. Starting to get a little bit of value. I think the chances we counterspell something there are pretty low, but of course it would let us like Spell Stutter, and then maybe Ninja, but they do just go for the Sunscape. Again, we have the Snuff Out. So do I just Snuff Out now? Probably. Or in their upkeep. If they go for a Snap, doing it in their upkeep actually gives them more mana if I wanted to counterspell it. If they go for a Negate or a Prohibit, well, they can't Prohibit the Snuff Out. If they go for a Negate, then I just counterspell. I think it's worth killing, seeing what they do here. Yep, they're going to snap it. And I can't spell stutter that, unfortunately, so we'll just go for the counter spell. And then we'll exile the snap before this actually goes off. And then I don't think I'm going to use the relic mana here, or popping the relic, so we'll just do this. Oh, those are both really good. I want the land for the Mystic. I could keep them both. Counterspell next turn. Then we develop nothing, and then I Lorien. I think that's probably worth it, though. So yeah, we'll go for that. They have a Preordain. Scry 2 to the top. Modern Age. Surely they're going to have a land drop, maybe a Chancery. Discard an Archaeomancer. Okay, just an island. Oh, right. I totally forgot that I was playing a Preordain. I was thinking I was like just like Fairy Searing, scrying 2. So I got to keep the counterspell and the Lorien this turn, which is very nice. Just blanked there. So obviously recycling the Lorien. I probably just get an island, because then I can hold up one of these and like pop in the relic if I really need, but that seems unlikely to need that this early. So I guess I'll take a chance and just try to get an extra black mana in case I need that for later. I mean, Spellstutter's countering just about nothing at this point. I mean, like a Preordain or whatever, but they discard a Deep Analysis and cast that. That's fine. There was not a moment where I could pop the relic for that, because this discard happens in the main phase. If they cast nothing, probably do Spellstutter though, right? Because we could get a Ninja, but they might have a Last Breath. Yeah, that's fine. So, double counterspell. I could go for a Mystic. Taps me out. I mean, that's just got to be wrong. Tapping out against familiars with 5 cards in hand. Like, the best case scenario, like a very easy thing for them to do that wouldn't even be the worst would be like Muldrift or Ephemerate. Like, really, really bad. But like, at best, they like snap our guy and then do a bunch of shenanigans. I think Familiar's worth keeping off the field. It is the name of the deck after all. Seagate Oracle I'll let go by though. Alright, Spellstutter. If it gives the name, counter it. Yeah, generally a good rule of thumb. That's why I counter every fairy I see. If I see a Fairy Miscreant or a Fairy Seer, gotta counter those for the fairies decks. You know, so many things to counter. I mean, I gotta counter the 3-for-1s, for sure. They don't attack with a Glider, because they know a Spellstutter could be coming, and that's a good call, but unfortunate. I mean, we've drawn every counterspell, which is nice, but we're not really making progress. Part of me kind of wants to just go for the Mystic and, like, hope for the best. I think that's a pretty good way to lose, though. If they just keep casting Muldrifters. That's our last counterspell. We saw all of them in 17 cards. Attack for 1. And, alright, Brainstorm. I think we do that. Try to hit some land drops here. Okay. So I do have the Lorien, so I could shuffle away. I kind of like all these cards, although the Ninja's not doing anything. And there's no reason for them to ever attack with this Vector Glider, so I guess we probably get rid of that. But I kind of think we do this. Like, I kind of want to hit these land drops, too. So I think we do this, and then I just play an island, and then I pass. Well, I guess it's only fair. We draw all 4 of our counterspells. They draw 3 other Muldrifters. Yep, can't do anything about it. They attack. So we are going to cycle the Lorien. I mean, I kind of think we need to just... I could Preordain, see what's up, but I kind of want to, like, Mystic and then Preordain. We are finally, like... We're tapping out, but we don't have much else going on. Why keep the Preordain in hand instead of the Lorien? Because I didn't want to cycle the Lorien. I wanted to keep the Preordain, so I didn't want to put it on top and cycle the Lorien that turn regardless. So I figured it didn't really matter which one I kept because I wasn't doing either that turn. Because I wanted to keep this for the Mystic, I wanted to keep the Lorien for the card draw, or the land drop. So yeah, I could have kept the other one in hand, but like I'm not worried about hand attack, so it really didn't matter which one I kept as long as... Yeah, see, now that we're tapped out, they get to do this with no Spellstutter. It's pretty bad, but what are you going to do? So yeah, that was my thought process. I feel like usually in the control versus control matchup for Familiars, it's like, I feel like Familiars has to be good against other control decks because for me, it's like, it's an okay matchup until literally any time when I tap out. I tap out and instantly I lose. I mean, they got to Ephemerate the Muldrifter to draw 4, then they get to Archaeomancer, Ephemerate, get back the Last Breath, which can also exile the Mystic. If I had held up the 1 mana for the Relic, I could have popped that. But now we basically just lose. They're at 7 cards and all this stuff going on. We have a cast down. I guess I put these back. They also are just like beating us on board, which makes sense. They play more creatures than us, but also just not a great thing to have here. Theoretically, if they've drawn just a bunch of nothing, like I could stop them here, but so we're gonna go for a cast down. They got a negate. I have a Spellstutter that just counters the Ephemerate, doesn't counter the negate, so they still even keep the Archaeomancer, which means if they have another way to flicker it, then they get the Ephemerate back. Although I have the Relic up now, but discard an island. They swing with everybody. I guess I eat an Archaeomancer here. Trade with it anyway. God First Faithful. Faithful Seagate Oracle. We get our Augur, which hits a Brainstorm, or Cast Down or a Snuff Out. I guess Cast Down. Flip their Vector Glider. They have a Preordain. I think we're just gonna concede. Like, we don't have anywhere near as much value as them. We're both control decks, but we're definitely a softer control deck, and we're not going to win there. So I think we need a little more creature interaction. We had all the counter spells, but didn't end up mattering because they have too many targets to counterspell everything. Cycle this for an Aquifer. Snuff Out's good. We'll go for an Augur. Try to set up this Ninja turn 2. Alright, we hit a Preordain. Not bad. Like, if they tap out for a Sunscape Familiar, that'd be nice, because I could just, like, snuff it out plus Ninja. They could definitely snap here, but we still get some extra value with the Augur if they do that. If not, we just get our draw. Alright. We have a lot of ways to kill their creatures. We have decent pressure, too. So that's probably just... Oh, that's even better. I was going to say a Seagate Oracle, which I'd have to kill because it would block. But that's just a divination, and they have to discard, so not even card advantage. Another Snuff Out, okay. Preordain, try to hit our land drops. I mean, Brainstorm's kind of nice because, like, oh, I could get it with the Augur, but, like, I really just need to hit our lands. No, we're not going to hit our lands. Well, I guess Ninja can also maybe draw a land. If not, I have so many good cards, though. Brainstorm, I guess we're going to try to Brainstorm into a land drop. All right, there we go. Okay, so we're going to put back 2 Cast Downs, one of which we can get with an Augur. I guess one of which we're not going to use, but honestly, like, I mean, our hand is outrageous right now. I don't even want to discard this land, but, like, these are all 4 or 0 mana. Sorry, I gotta take a little screenshot of this real quick. That's crazy. I mean, ideally, we can just go the distance with these 2 creatures, but it feels like they're about to snap one. I could Snuff Out, but I don't think we're going to do that. Last Breath, well, I don't like that. That is a real pain, honestly. Modern Age, sure. I guess I hope I draw a creature. Fairy Seer, perfect. Mystic, oh my god. Like, this is such a weird spot, because if we get a Mystic down and then we, like, can protect it with counter spells and stuff, we're just gonna win. But, like, can I get a Mystic down through all this? Probably not. Plus, we're gonna have to discard here, which could be the Ninja. If he plays Spy, I could snuff out 3 of his creatures. Yeah, thanks for that. I think I'd just leave them both on top because God, I wish he played anything I could just snuff out here. Like, I could discard the Ninja, but that seems crazy. I don't know. I think I discard a Cast Down. Like, everything's crazy. I just have an insane cards. Feels weird to be discarding them for no value. But if I can get the Ninja off this turn, then I can get the Lorien and the Mystic in hand. Then I can cycle the Lorien for land. Replay the Fairy Seer, although that wouldn't be holding up a counterspell then. Which, with so many counterspells in hand, feels like I should probably always be holding one of these up. But that's fine because I can snuff it out. Deep Analysis, Snuff Out in response, because I don't want him to get more value from the mana reduction. And also I just want to use up some of the cards in my hand. Alright, I feel like Mystic is a very good way to win this game if I just don't play it too early. So we're gonna try to draw that and cycle Lorien for an island and just hold up counterspell here. It's gonna flip. That is annoying because then it stops my Ninja, but of course I have Snuff Outs. That's fine. Ideally, I top deck an island here, and then I can just play a Mystic with a counterspell backup. I can snuff out 2 of their creatures, make 2 birds, and then we're in a great spot. But I'm not going to Mystic if I can't hold up a counterspell, because then they could just have a Last Breath or whatever. Alright, Preordain, cycle a Lorien. They're tapping low, which is nice. Spell Stutter. I could Fairy Seer, and then I have Spell Stutter Counterspell. I don't think I want to snuff out these 2 creatures until I have the Mystic on board. I think this is probably the safest, is to Fairy Seer, try to get the land. They have a prohibit for that. Essence Scatter. I can't Spell Stutter that yet. I do kind of want it to resolve, and I just have enough counterspells that I can't really deploy them all at once, so I think we're just going to go for one. Scry. Oh, brother. These are great cards. Do I want to get rid of great cards? Not really, but they're not lands. Do I already have what I need to win in my hand? Yes. I think so. Alright, we're going to try to get rid of both of these and see how this works out. Hi, this is my first time watching your stream. Saw you only from a YouTube video. I'm really excited to be able to watch the stream. How do you think Jund Wildfire is right now? I think Jund is in a good spot. I don't think there's anything bad about Jund, personally. Probably have a counterspell for my counterspell, but I still think I go for it. Yeah, I mean, there's been some different innovations people have been trying to do. I think that the best version is probably the Gixian version still, but I think Jund is solid. As long as you can survive Mono Red Madness and stuff, and Terror, like those are the big ones, you're probably fine. They're going to get back a Prohibit. Okay, but they're tapped out this turn. Prohibit in hand. Come on, I bought them such good cards. Give me a land. No. Okay. Do I Mystic anyway? Because I could Mystic... Snuff out, but if I have to hold up a Snuff Out for the Archaeomancer, and if I'm going to do that, then I can't Snuff Out to get rid of the Ninja, or to get the Ninja through anyway. But I could Mystic Brainstorm. I think I do that. I think it's time. I can still make enough birds to hopefully, like, deal him some good damage. Alright, and we get to put back these two, which we also get to preordain to make another bird. And Thorn feels good. I finally have my 6th land. Yeah, these are both pretty good. I'm not going to Snuff Out here because I think my main way of losing is through Archaeomancer. I could just Snuff it out now because they have a Prohibit. If they have an Ephemerate and like something else, I kind of think I'm in a bad spot. So I think we're just going to kill it now, but hold up the other one and pass. Anyway, yeah, I think Jund is good. I think if you like Jund and want to keep playing it, I don't think it's in a bad spot by any means. Deep Analysis to draw 2. Not the worst 4-drop I could see. They even flash it back. They do draw a lot of cards, but at least they spent most of their mana to do so. Holding up a Prohibit, but they could also have a Negate or something. So I think I Snuff Out the Vector Glider now, so I can attack with everything. They block here and take 5, because I think we need to go on the offensive. If they want to snap that, I get to just Spell Stutter, and I could slam a Thorn, but I think I'm already in such a dominating position that I just hold up a counterspell. And the next turn, maybe I can put down the Thorn. All right, let's see if I can bring it home and not throw. We already have enough of an army that, like, if they try to... I'm not going to counter that, but obviously that is a bit of a pain, gaining a lot of life. If they try to, like, kill the Mystic, I'd probably let that go. Draw 3. It could be bait, or it could be that they need to legitimately find something else. Block, block. They're taking 6. The problem with these guys is this is not, like, we don't have a guaranteed, like, 2-turn clock. It's like, it could be a million turns. But they also have so much mana. I guess we're going to go for it. I guess they have the Prohibit anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Fair enough. I guess might as well make them use it and get a bird out of it, though. I mean, I could save it for later when it could pinch their mana more, but knowing they have the Prohibit, it's not the worst thing ever, I don't think. Spell Stutter's decent. We get to attack for 7 and play the Thorn. No reason not to. And Monarch's good. Draw an extra card at the end of turn. Cyclone Ash Barrens. Another Spell Stutter. I can only use one this turn, but it's for 3, so probably should be pretty safe on like a 2-drop. Muldrifter is totally fine. I assume there will be an Ephemerate for it. Do I even counter an Ephemerate? It's a blocker. Obviously, it's more cards, but they'd be at 6 mana left. Snap on the Muldrifter. See, that's what I was worried about. I was going to say, I'm worried about them getting more mana, though. I'd probably go for a counter on the Snap. I'm sure they'll have a counter back, and then I'm fully tapped out, so it's kind of rough. So probably maybe should just hold it for longer. Sunscape Familiar, Evoke the Muldrifter again, and they have another Ephemerate, or just the first one, I guess, since the first was a Snap. Modern Age. We just draw a land, and they're still at 18 life. I'm not a big fan of playing against Familiars, because it just feels like, how do I deal with this? I guess I throw away a bird for some damage, but they're just going to gain a much more life. We've already had a couple counterspells, but 3 actual counterspells, but I guess if I draw more, that would be good. Oh, there's a Spell Stutter. Those have been like a couple in my last several draws. Ephemerate for the Muldrifter. It draws them 2 cards. Sure, that's fine. Loot from the Modern Age. Another Sunscape Familiar. 2 Familiars is where they can start going infinite with a Ghostly Flicker and an Archaeomancer. I could obviously try to counter like the Ghostly Flicker or the Archaeomancer, but it's also just really cheap other spells, so I think I have to try to counter this too. And see what else they got. Another one gets back Ephemerate. Ephemerate probably gets back Snap, so they can make more mana. Sure, they just have another Ephemerate. That gets Snap, because Snap costs 1, I assume. Yep. Snap the Mystic. Modern Age. And they pass. We get a Relic of Progenitus. I'll play the Mystic. If they have a counterspell for it, then I could get the Relic going. Either way, swing with everybody and play Relic, which they have a negate for. And then they just have 2 Ephemerates going off. Triggers from the Modern Age. I mean, I assume we're dead here. If they have Mortuary Mire in their deck, which we haven't seen yet, but if they have it, they won't be able to mill out. Probably no way they mill out anyway, because they have 10 cards. That's a lot. Craymancer picks up Snap, snaps the Mystic, returns Negate. They have a Mull Drifter. Played against Familiars a few weeks ago. What a slog. Yeah, it's not my favorite. They take the Monarch. Look at that. Akiba Gang Shinobi. For all the good it'll do. I guess might as well get that guy off. They don't block. Boom, look at this. Had him down to 4 in both games. Ended up timing out in the second game. Yep, sounds about right. We will pass. Ephemerate, buys back Ephemerate. There's the Mortuary Mire. So they're not going to mill out, and we're going to eventually die. We even were lower on time than they were because I have to actually spend time to figure out how to stop them. I do like Ephemerate loops, though. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. It gets very repetitive very fast to me. Played against Familiars on a Jund last week. It was the most boring matchup ever. We ended up 0-0. Yeah, I like playing a lot of different decks, obviously, but one reason that I really like playing Black Sack is specifically because any deck that tries to do some BS like that, where it's going to try to time out and take a million years, Black Sack usually could just steamroll in like 10 minutes. So we got to mulligan that, and this one is not very good, but why not? I also just like Ephemerate in general. Fun card. It's a cool card. I think it's pretty busted, I think. Not that Pauper's a stranger to busted cards, but Jund is terrible against Familiars. It's the worst matchup to Jund IMO. Yeah, definitely not a good one for them. Bit of a pain. Oh, fun. Now we get to play against Cycle Storm. We do have a Bajuka Bog in hand, so that's a bit of a plus for us. I mean, we have a Spell Stutter Sprite we can flash in. If they try to go off this turn, we can counter a 1-drop. If not, I'll just flash it in for like a ninja, and we'll probably bog them next turn, because there'll probably be enough stuff in there by then. Street Wraith. Yeah, Cycle Storm. It's an interesting one. I mean, I'm not gonna ninja and not hold up a Spell Stutter Sprite. There are only 3 cards in their graveyard. I kind of want to hold the Bajuka Bog. I think we're going to just pass, miss our land drop intentionally, and hold up Spell Stutter for, well, not for that, so that's a bit of annoying. This is the deck I couldn't imagine playing. Yes. It's definitely one of those for me. I am not a fan. And yes, there are a lot of decks I'm not a fan of. I'm a bit of a hater, but what are you going to do? Lotus Petal I don't think is what I'm waiting to counter. I think we're just going to counter like a, I don't even know. Hopefully we had a Lori in here. Cycle away some of these unnecessary cards. And they go for a Rowan's Grim Search when we're tapped out. We didn't counter the last one. We couldn't counter this one either way, so it doesn't matter. Frantically looks up deck donation page. Hey, in my little promo, I specifically say if you want me to play a deck that I would not usually play, if that's your MO, is to make it so that I play something that I don't generally care for, hey, you can do that for a little bit of money. So go for it. I think Mystic is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. We're drawing these cards back, aren't we? Yes. They're gonna discard here. What's your least favorite decks tier list? I feel like that information can only be used against me. But for the content, why not? Alright, we do get to bog them here. That's pretty good value. I'm pretty happy with that. Unless they're gonna like Songs of the Damned in response, which I can counter, so that's not the end of the world. They are gonna try to. I think I just have to stop it here. I'd love to like get more value later, but if they Songs of the Damned, cycle a bunch, cast a bunch of things I can't counter, and then go for a Reap in the Graves, we can't counter that, so I think we just go for this. Like my Turbo Fog list, you went 1-4. Yeah, hey, I know how a lot of the decks work. I can definitely do fine with them, but you're right, that's generally not my favorite to play. Oh look, we're glitched here, but I think they conceded, because my little overlay says I'm up a game. Maybe? There it is. Anyway, for the content, what is my least favorite decks? I mean, it's not like a special list. I'm not much of a combo player. I don't care for combo decks. So just about anything that skews into combo is going to be my least favorite. Storm, of course, I consider a combo deck as well. So any Storm deck going to be on the ones I don't care for. Combo, so anything. Tron, whether it's combo or not, Tron just kind of irritates me because I don't think lands should be able to tap for that much mana. But yeah, Tron decks, not a big fan of. Storm decks, certainly High Tide was the least favorite, but luckily that's gone. Cycle Storm. What other combo decks are there? Elves is a combo deck. I know a lot of people don't like to hear this, but it's the truth. Elves is a combo deck, and that is why I've had quite a few comments, honestly. I don't feel like I hate on Elves that much, but, you know, if I do, I think it's warranted. But I've had a lot of people ask me why I don't like Elves, and the reason is it's a combo deck. A lot of people say it's an aggro deck. The only reason to think that is it has a bunch of 1-drops, but, like, it doesn't attack with those 1-drops. It waits until it gets... It's not a combo deck where you get 2 cards together and you win, but it's a combo deck where you assemble a critical mass of elves, and then you have 1 Timberwatch elf with a couple Quarians, and that wins you the game. Or you get a Hydra and a bunch of Priest of Titania, and that wins the game, or whatever. We don't have a lot of great cards to side in here. Like, I guess this is a creature. A null can catch Lotus Petals. We still need 1 more. I guess we can bring a Thorn back in, but these cards kind of suck. Thorn's so slow. I guess this can at least cycle. I don't know. What about Poison Storm? Poison Storm's a storm deck. Not a big fan. Madness Burn is also a combo deck. Yeah, so there's obviously levels. This has no interaction. There are levels of combo deck. So, yes, Madness is more of a combo deck than, like, Red Rally, but it's certainly not a combo deck. It's not anywhere near as much of a combo deck as, like, you know, Walls or Spy or whatever. I guess this one's okay. We'll put back 1 Brainstorm. I can't imagine using both of these ninjas, though. Yeah, actually, let's get rid of one of these. So I have actually played some Madness Burn on the channel. To be honest, it was mostly before people started calling it a combo deck, and then I realized and was like, oh god, what have I done? So it's, you know, it is a little bit, but Walls, yeah, Walls is a combo deck. I mean, there's non-combo Walls, which is like Cascade and, you know, basically monster Walls that people play not very often. That deck is better, but it still is like combo E in that it's trying to just make 1,000,000 mana. And to be honest, like, most any pile at this point that has Lead the Stampede, Winding Way, 12 lands, and then a bunch of creatures, those are often combo decks because it's just trying to, like, you cast a Lead the Stampede into a Quarian Ranger. Well, the Quarian Ranger gives you 6 mana back because you untap a creature, which allows you to continue going and cast your second Winding Way. Like, that's very combo-y. So, alright, let's try to turn this hand into something good. Okay, more spell stutters. I would love to get a ninja off, but I'm not getting rid of any counterspell or relic. And I want this land, so am I going to shuffle away 2 brainstorms here? I kind of think so. The rest of the hand is pretty good. And we kept black cards in, but not for any real good reason, except that we didn't have a lot to sideboard, so, like, yeah, that's fine. I don't want to play a relic early because they do have Siege Smash often that they'll bring in. So yeah, Walls definitely, Spy definitely is a combo deck. Mogwarts is a fun combo deck. I agree with you in general, but I like Mogwarts somehow. Hey, I'm not saying... I try not to be a hater. If you like a deck, you can play that deck. That doesn't mean I have to like it, obviously, but to me, Mogwarts is just another combo deck. It just happens to have a backup plan of, like, attack with a bunch of goblins, but, you know, Spy has a backup plan of mid-range and stuff like that, so it's still not one I'm going to be super keen on playing, but if you want to play it, that's fine. Walls is a cool deck too, sure. How much more combo-y is Elves compared to a Black Sack? The current lists win a lot of times. Board out Elves and just play at 5 mana, 5/4. I mean, like, Elves compared to Black Sack, look, you can call me biased or whatever, that's totally fine. I don't think Black Sack is a combo deck. Yes, there is a, you know, you assemble a bunch of cards and then you Rite of Consumption for lethal sometimes, which is kind of a combo-y finish. I can agree with that, but I think it's like a 3 on, like, a combo scale of, like, 1 to 10. A 3 or 4 for Black Sack, whereas Elves, I would say, is like a 6 or a 7. Yeah, you could make the argument that, like, oh, it's assembling a critical mass of 1/1 creatures, and then you're mostly winning with the sack outlet, but you're not... the big difference to me is that your creatures are not just sitting there doing nothing, which is what Elves do. They sit there, do nothing, and tap for mana. You know, whereas your Black Sack creatures, you're attacking with them pretty much every turn you can. Yes, you're trying to win with, like, a big creature, but often you're winning with a lot of little creatures too. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. There's only 4 creatures in the grave. Do I want to play a relic yet? I kind of think I want to hold off another turn. They only have 1 mana currently. Oh, well, if I'm just going to luck into the Bajuka Bog, we'll certainly play that. Get our black mana. I don't even think I think I just ninja here then, because I don't even care to hold up a spell stutter this turn. Like, if they go off this turn from no graveyard, good for them. The current lists win a lot of times, board out Elves and just play 5 mana, 5/4. Yeah, as far as Avenging Hunter... certainly Avenging Hunter is less of a combo win, but, like, you're saying boarding out the combo in favor of, like, more of a mid-range win. That still is kind of admitting that, like, the main deck is trying to go for this combo-y type win. So, still seems like a more of a combo deck to me. Chat isn't updating on screen. Yeah, I'm seeing that. Oh, well, they just concede, so we end up taking that down. But Jukabog was nicely timed. Dimir Faeries, very strong deck, I think. Sometimes a little unlucky, and sometimes I don't know how to play against Spy or Azorius Familiars. I think a Spy we got a little unlucky for sure, but Familiars mostly felt like probably user error. I don't know that matchups too well, but in any case, I like this version a lot. Certainly I played with like the Fairy Miscreant version and some others, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with the deck, but just a solid deck all around that I really enjoy playing. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much, and I will see you next time.